The Nigerian government fully complies with the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking in persons and prostitution. Over the years, the government more than doubled the number of human trafficking offenders convicted, while it has improved assistance given to victims, also demonstrated strong awareness creation efforts and increased funding to its anti-human trafficking organization, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NATIP. Nigeria's strengthened anti-trafficking record over the last year reflects the cumulative impact of progressively increasing efforts made by NATIP. This does not change the narrative that Nigeria still remains a source, transit and destination country for women and children, including men, trafficked for the purposes of forced labor and commercial sexual exploitation. That is not the issue here. We met a German national on a visit to Nigeria and got to know that he is collaborating with agencies involved in checking or fighting the ever-rising trend in the trafficking in persons as well as prostitution outside Nigeria. He is Mr. Andres Kalok. Welcome to Diplomatic Ties.
Thanks.
Under the aegis of Hat Factory Vienna, Austria, he is working with relevant agencies on prostitution and human trafficking in Nigeria. Mr. Kalok also collaborates with an organization called Media Campaign Against Human Trafficking. His organization, the Hat Factory, visits unsuspecting victims who are either women and men. The organization also provides opportunities for the future and supports people in crisis situations, including those who are looking for an alternative to prostitution. Indeed, an alternative to prostitution. Once again, Mr. Andres Kalok, you are welcome to the program.
Thanks a lot.
That's the focus of the program, and our focus basically is how he's collaborating from the private sector with government agencies in Nigeria in an effort to give us a clean slate in the onslaught against human trafficking and prostitution, which has to do with forced labor, name it, outside the shores of Nigeria. That will be the focus on Diplomatic Ties today. This and more after this time out. Stay with us. Alternative to prostitution. How do you mean here? It amazed me when I heard it.
I mean, we believe that there's also work with dignity, because prostitution is a work without dignity. It takes away the dignity of a woman or a man. So we believe in work that has dignity. So we try, I mean, if you speak from about the situation in Austria, you know, we try to help the women to learn the language, because without the language you will not get a good work. Then we help them to find different works. I mean, because many of them, they are not trained. So, but I mean, there are works like cleaning jobs, but they also get well paid in Austria actually, and it's a work with dignity. And also we have a project and we train people to become tailors. So there we have, I think in the moment we have like 4 women who stepped out of prostitution, and we train them now, Nigerian women in Austria.
So how did you get to discover them?
We reach out to the streets since almost 10 years, every week. So we met them there. And we start to get relationship with them, because we go there every week, you know, so they start to trust us. So we speak with them about what happened to them, and we speak about future, and we give them hope. We tell them that there's alternatives. So it takes time, you know, because there's a lot of mistrust, because they were abused, you know, and actually often people whom they trusted, they brought them into human trafficking. We have a lot of stories about girls who even, I remember one girl from Benin City, and her own stepfather actually sold her, more or less, got a lot of money out of it. So it's not easy for them to trust somebody, to trust another human being. So, but over the time, you know, because we meet them every week, you know, we invite them also, we have like a drop-in center, so we invite them so they can find out that they can trust us, you know, and that actually the things we promise them, we keep, you know.
So do you have cases of the ones you rehabilitated by giving them alternative based on what I read about the organization, alternative to prostitution? Do you have testimonies of those of them you rehabilitated and who are doing well now?
Yes.
Can you give us an account of it?
For instance, we have one young woman, and she came, you know, overland. She was in a boat for 3 days without water, but she survived. So she ended up in Malta, and on the way she got raped actually. So she was pregnant. So in Malta actually she lost the baby, and because of this she could get out of the detention camp. So, but the madam got her again. I mean, they have a system, you know, and she brought her to Italy to work in prostitution. From there she fled to Austria. So we got to know her, and it took also it took a longer time, I think, before she trusted us. But then she started to open up, you know, she told us her story. So we helped her, and in the end she got a humanitarian visa, and actually also she got married, and she has a child now, and she has a work. She's working in a like I think in a family, like cooking and looking after the children, and so I think it's a good story.
So your organization, the Heart Foundation Factory, is it only focused on people who are illegally living in Nigeria, or you are looking at other parts of the world too?
No, we have a lot of young women also from Eastern Europe who are also partly victims.
Not particularly Nigerians?
No.
Okay, fine. Is this your first time in Nigeria?
No, it's the 6th time.
So can you give us your exploits, your interactions, your interface, your collaboration with the agencies in Nigeria? How far, how well?
Actually, I came here the first time 2011, actually with a pastor from a Nigerian pastor who has a church in Vienna, and she invited me. It's a woman. She's from Akure. So
Akure?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a Yoruba. So she invited me to come with her. She's actually also helped a lot of girls out of prostitution and human trafficking in Vienna. So because I got very interested to see the background of the girls, you know, so she invited me to come. So, and somehow I heard about this organization, media campaign against human trafficking. So when I came here, I met them in Abuja, and I got to know about what they do. And they invited me actually for an awareness campaign in Benin City in the same year in November. So
which year was this?
It was 2011,
okay.
In August.
Okay.
So actually I came back a second time in November. And so we went with a team from, I think, from Sweden, Ukraine, South Africa, about 10 people. I think we went to Benin City and we did an awareness campaign, media campaign against human trafficking. They have actually a Nollywood film. It's called Europe in My Heart. It's a real movie, and it shows the whole story of a trafficked girl from Benin to, in this case, to Denmark. So we used this film for awareness raising.
Let me ask you this. What is your view regarding migration, the illegal migrants in the world? It's a global trend and problem.
It's a big problem, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think we have to offer them alternatives before they go out of the country, you know, like training.
Okay.
Because what we and I mean actually, you know, Benin City is the hub of human trafficking, you know, and we just came back from there.
Have you made your investigations? Is there another city that is a hub of human trafficking in Nigeria?
It's Benin City, yeah,
really?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, alone this year, about 25,000 girls and boys went from there to Europe.
Okay.
And I mean, not everybody arrives, you know, a lot of them die in the sea. And
Okay, beautiful. Now, the German government, where you come from, you're German.
yeah, but I live in Austria, so
I understand. But the German government is coming up with a fantastic migration policy. And part of it is a kind of empowerment program where they want to set up empowerment schemes in Africa, in Asia, in the Middle East. And the concept basically is, rather than the young ones, boys, girls, migrate illegally to Europe, they capitalize on those empowerment schemes within domiciled in their country. And already Nigeria has indicated interest to be part of the activity. So what do you make of this? Is it a good move?
I'm convinced it's a very good idea, and I hope we can bring it into practice. So it I don't know much. I just heard it also in the news or so, but I think if this would work, I think it would really help.
Is your organization involved in it?
Our organization?
Yes.
Because I mean, I'm from Austria, so I cannot speak about the German, you know,
Okay.
because I'm in Austria,
Okay.
and I don't know if the Austrian government is also planning something like this.
Okay.
I
So-
hope so.
So ultimately, now, migrants or illegal migrants from Africa, a lot will say they really have no business migrating to Europe. Why? Because we don't have civil wars in Africa currently.
Yeah, I know.
I said maybe a snippet of them in one or two places like that. Now, what can be done to check it in Africa to reduce the level of young ones, both in the female and masculine gender, migrating to Europe in droves?
I think one point is awareness, to tell them that many of them, they think that the streets in Europe are plastered with gold, you know. We always, I mean, when I have been in Benin City now 3 times, and I always try to tell them that, you know, in Europe, young people also have to work hard to make money, you know. It's a long way. I mean, you have to go to school, you have to learn a profession, or you have to study, you know, and it takes a lot of time. And I mean, we always say you have to start small, you know. The mind of especially of the young people in Benin is somehow perverted, you know. They think, because sometimes they see that girls who went to Europe, sometimes suddenly they send back money, you know. So the parents start building a big house, suddenly a big car stands in front of the door. So in the mind of the other people, they think, oh, it goes fast, it goes easy, you know. So they try to also to send their girls or boys to Europe, you know, to make the money. But actually it's only in some cases that it works. Most of the time nothing comes out, you know, and the pockets are empty. So we really try to tell them that, you know, start small, you know, and take time, and we really believe that something will come out if you start small and do step by step, you know. As long as you think that money comes fast, you know, you are really in danger to fall into this trap of the human traffickers, you know, because this is actually what they tell you, you know. They tell you that you can make money fast, you know.
Okay.
But this is actually not true.
Most times, the one way to change a trend is when you use victims who have converted
Yes.
from the trend to what is that.
Yes.
Have you bothered to adopt the change agents approach, where maybe you have testimonies of girls through your organization who are back in Nigeria, and you want to use them in the campaign? Are you involving them in this?
Yes.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, we have this one Igbo man actually who was trafficked to South Africa, and he's back now in Nigeria, and he speaks open about his story, you know. So we sometimes take just last Monday we did a training in the Equa Church, so he was also there, and he told this group his story, you know.
Can you tell us his story? What's the story like?
Yeah, they told him that he could become a professional football player. So they paid the airfare to, in this case, to Cape Town. But when he came out of the airplane, you know, they told him, actually, that is not the truth. So here you have some drugs and you have some girls. So now you have to sell the drugs and and pimp the girls. And actually, people from MECAT, from this organization in South Africa, they met him when they did outreach, and they told him that they can help him to start a new life. So he actually stopped this, and he came back to Nigeria.
So what's he doing now in Nigeria?
Actually, in the moment, he's just getting he had a fake passport actually. So he's now has the real passport, and now he wants to do like we call it discipleship training program. It's actually from a Christian organization. So it's like a 6-month program. So he's now waiting to do this. But he is really I would say a good testimony of somebody who stepped out and can really tell the truth from inside, you know, not just theories.
Okay, beyond Benin, have you been to any other city in Nigeria on your advocacy program?
Yes, to Ibadan.
So what happened there?
Ibadan is also it's also a hotspot of actually prostitution.
Okay.
And but we also have people there. We train people there, and now they are also doing outreach. And already, I mean, they have like they have one girl also that stepped out and is now in this kind of discipleship training program.
Okay.
We just met her last week.
Sisters of Nigeria.
Yes.
Self-employment training.
Yes.
The collaboration with religious bodies, if any. So what can you tell us on this? Okay, let's start with Sisters of Nigeria. What is the initiative all about?
Actually, this was, we started this already before I went to Nigeria. It was because we met all this, we call them, they are our sisters, you know?
Okay, the ones you discovered over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't call them prostitutes, you know? We call them treasures or sisters, you know, because we meet them really on eye level, you know? We are not better than them, you know? So we don't believe that there's small sin or big sin, you know. In God's eyes, we are all the same, you know,
yeah.
and we beings.
Now, what other collaboration are you doing in Nigeria? Have you met religious organizations?
Yes, we work mainly with churches, actually.
Okay.
We do most of the trainings.
So how do you carry out your campaigns or advocacy in churches or religious organizations, if I will put it that way?
I mean, we have a lot of contact to different churches, and so they invite us because they get interested, because we really believe that it's actually the church who should reach out to these girls. Because, I mean, this is what actually Jesus taught us, you know. So we really believe that Jesus...
On the flip side, you say you talk to the girls.
Yes.
What could be responsible for a young girl or a parent package her daughter or package her son and say, go to a country, God knows where, so that you struggle and bring back money? What could be responsible?
It's actually a lot of greed.
Okay.
Greed, yeah, greed is a big problem.
Okay.
Because, because as I said before, they see suddenly they see that there's a big house growing, you know, and so greed is coming up because they think, oh, I want it too, you know.
Okay.
So instead of finding good ways to, have enough for every day, you know, the idea comes to their mind that they could also send their daughter to Europe, you know.
Some persons, some quarters view that poverty is responsible. Is it true?
Sure, poverty is driving it. Poverty is also a kind of it's a big reason, yeah. But I mean, there is still, I think there is a difference between work and dignity, even if you don't become rich, you know, and becoming greed and trying to get a lot of money, you know. At least, I mean, often it doesn't happen actually, because I mean, if you send your daughter and she dies on the way, I mean, then nothing will come out.
Okay, your current mission to Nigeria, what have you done or discovered before you go back? You are currently in Nigeria.
Yes, yeah.
You came still part of the works you're doing.
Yeah.
So what did you discover, and where did you visit?
I mean, we did trainings, you know, so we did trainings in Benin, in Ibadan, in Jos, and in Abuja. So I discovered that there are churches who really will get involved. You know, they really have the heart for this, and they asked us to come back. So this is actually, I think for me it's good news. So, but I have also discovered that there's so much to do that sometimes you really get depressed.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes it's overwhelming, you know.
So
I mean,
will you come back?
sure, I will come back soon. Yeah, I plan to come back in April or May.
Okay. So your last word. What words do you have for your collaborators? NAPTIP, Media Campaign Against Human Trafficking, the religious organizations, immigration. What word of advice or maybe encouragement do you have for them?
I think it's very important that we all work together and not against each other. That we try to get enough, every information we can get. You know, we also, I mean, it's, you know, we really have to fight corruption, because I mean corruption is still a big problem. Because the traffickers, they have a lot of money, you know, and they can, with money you can do most everything, you know. So yeah, we really need people who know that to traffic somebody, it's really an awful thing, you know, and it actually kills the life of a girl, you know, because working in prostitution, it's really, it takes the dignity of a young woman, you know. So people have to wake up, and you know, money is not, I mean, money is it's not all you can have in life, you know. There are things that are much more important than money.
So what network strategy could be adopted between nations of the world to check this? Because, for instance, if there's a route between Nigeria, Benin Republic, all through, and there are safeguards between Nigeria and Benin Republic and other places,
Yeah.
it could be checked. What advice can you give in this direction?
Do you mean to guard the
To
borders?
guard, yes, the guard, yes.
I mean, if there would be, I mean, if we would have the chance, or I think we will do it in the future, to train these people. I mean, it's still up to them to do the right thing, you know. You know, we cannot force anybody. You know, if a immigration officer is corrupt, and instead of looking for victims of human trafficking, takes the money from the traffickers, nobody can do anything. But we hope that if the more we create awareness, that people will change their mind, you know, and help the girls instead helping the traffickers.
Okay. Could the change agents also help? For instance, the traditional rulers, religious leaders?
Sure. Yeah, sure. We met, I think 3 years ago, we also met with the late Oba of Benin to talk about this, you know.
Okay.
I mean, if the government speaks up, if politicians speak up about this, it's very important.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Andre Kalok.
Thanks.
It was a pleasure having you on Diplomatic Ties.
Yes.
And you said you'll be back in Nigeria?
Yes.
And when you come, what will you be looking at?
I'll be looking at more people who are interested to get trained, and hopefully more girls who want to step out in Nigeria, and that there will be more safe houses and more opportunities, and also especially opportunities for good business for the girls, for training, you know,
Okay.
so that they don't have to leave the country.
Okay. What message do you have for those who are in this trade of trafficking persons for all kinds of promises?
You mean the traffickers?
Yeah, traffickers. You could change them. Is it possible?
I think that they can also, yeah. I mean,
Do you
there's
plan to have programs for them, for the ones you have discovered already?
the traffickers.
Yes.
Until now, I mean, you know, sometimes victims become traffickers. You know, like in Austria, actually the madams who control the girls, many of them have been victims before. And I mean, it's a tragedy that you know, they experienced all this, but they still do the same with other girls, you know. So sure, we try to reach out, but some, I mean, they don't want to change, you know, because they make so much money, so they are completely corrupted.
Can they be offered alternative to that trait?
Sure,
It's a difficult answer.
sure, they could.
Okay.
They would not make that much money, I'm sure.
I'm a human trafficker, and you come to me, look, Mr. Den, you have to change. And I say, okay, I will change. What can you offer me as an alternative? Is that doable?
Maybe I would first start to speak with him about his soul, you know.
Okay.
Because I mean, actually, many Nigerians, at least they say that they are Christians. So I would speak about them, about what they think, what if they can, if this is what they do is does it conform with their beliefs?
Okay.
You know. So I would really speak about their soul and about turning their lives, you know,
Okay.
to a good way.
Well, it was so nice talking with you, Mr. Andres Kalok, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
That's about that on Diplomatic Ties today. We tried to really put us through the dangers involved in just being deceived to say, come and go to Europe. There's a lot of job there, like your life will change. Mr. Andres has told us that it is not what you think. You may go there and it become woe or true. However, the campaign continues. He's collaborating with agencies in Nigeria in the public and private sector in the fight against human trafficking and prostitution. You heard from him what it takes and the dangers involved. And what you could also do is not all about government, it's about you. He is a private sector person and he has come all the way from Austria, though a German national, working in collaboration with other agencies to ensure that our brothers, our sisters are not deceived into slavery, are not deceived into prostitution, are not deceived into forced labor, name it. That's about that on Diplomatic Ties today, and I believe you had a wonderful time with us. Tune in same time, same station, some other time for yet another issue on Diplomatic Ties. On behalf of all of us, bye-bye.